Hi, I'm Debra. I'm a volunteer with the Lincoln Park Conservancy, and thank you for joining us on today's Wildflower Walk. We're at North Pond Nature Sanctuary.
Hi, I'm Janet, and I'm lucky enough to be on the Wildflower Walk too.
This is a cup plant, and while this one does not have flowers on the top, we'll show you some of it with flowers. But why is it called a cup plant? Well, cups hold things. And if you look carefully, I'm going to look first of all down here. You see where it's kind of all around here? It's not separated. And if we go up to the next one, what do you see in the cup? Water. It did rain early this morning, so bugs are going to be able to feed off of that. Birds, bees, anything that needs water. They're drinking out of a cup.
One of the plants that really is a show-off this time of year is wild Senna. It has very soft leaves and a spike of flowers. And if you're familiar with flower forms, you may recognize that as sort of a pea family flower shape. And this is in the pea family, or Fabaceae. So wild Senna is used medicinally. You may be familiar with Senna, which is available over the counter as a laxative. And this has been used by Native Americans as well as current Americans for that purpose. The seeds and the leaves are used for the laxative properties. And if you come by in another, maybe month or so, you'll see seed pods about 6 or 7 inches long dangling from where the flowers were.
Okay. And we're actually looking at a buffet plant for monarch butterflies. Their caterpillars feed off of this. And you see those holes? That's where a caterpillar would have eaten through, which would then open up into a monarch butterfly. But the milkweed plant here is quite interesting. We have all kinds of pods. I want to see if I can open up one for you. Aha! This may not open easily. There we go. If you can see all those little fluffy things, they have all kinds of different uses. During World War II, they were used inside of life vests because of how buoyant they are. You would not sink with these. I understand that they do some clothing that's stuffed with them and other things. But ideally, we leave them on the plant so that the animals can benefit from them.
Milkweed bugs.
Ah.
You see them on the pod, and they've got their little proboscises poked in there, and they suck all the goodness out of the seeds. And so you see the gray pods, and those are the ones they've really pretty thoroughly attacked. Here we have an example of some tiny pods that were really arrested in development because the milkweed bugs were feeding on them. And if we take a pod that's green, it hasn't been as affected. So we still see a little of the latex sap both in the stem and along the edges of the pod as I break it open. And then we see all the well-formed seeds inside this one, lying in a perfect fish scale pattern, and each one attached to its pappus, or its little collection of fluff ready to take to the air and find a home and sprout. One spectacular late summer wildflower is great blue Lobelia. And this plant has spikes of flowers on a tall stem, and the lower petals provide a perfect landing spot for pollinators. So they land here and it sort of pulls the flower open and they can go in and get their nectar and pollinate the plant.
Look at this beautiful red on this cardinal flower. The color is, of course, cardinal. And it's got a very deep, well, is that a good one? Anyway, insects with they can get in there. Hummingbirds can get in there. But the color is so unusual. You find very few plants that have red coloring. And kind of a fun fact, if you're from Chicago, from where I'm standing right now showing you, I can look due south. I can't see it because there's trees in the way, but the Cardinal's mansion is right down within line from here.
So here are the fruits of the spikenard plant. We talked about it in an earlier video, but the beautiful purple fruits hadn't developed yet, so now you get a good view of them.
This is a plant that follows directions very well. This is called an obedient plant. Gorgeous shade of a pinkish purplish color. But now why is it called obedient? Well, if I touch any of these individual ones, let's look at this one right here. I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it towards me. And did you see what happened? It stayed that way. It's very obedient. It will move whatever direction I want to move them to. They are indeed fun to play with if you have them in your yard. And can you see all the bees on them? They're definitely great for pollinators.
This plant is evening primrose, and called evening because the flowers open up to meet their pollinators during the evening hours. So this flower just fell off in my hand. It's all closed up because its pollinators aren't out and about. It's looking for moths to come and pollinate. And you may have heard of evening primrose oil, sometimes referred to as EPO, and it's actually pressed from the seeds of this plant. And each flower will produce a seed capsule. And this capsule, from one modest little flower, is teeming with seeds. Now these seeds are immature. They're little white seeds right now. But when the seeds are mature, it'll form a beige colored capsule that will be held upright on the plant, and it will just have little curved openings on the end, which by midwinter are all ragged and torn back because the birds come along and peel them back to eat all these nice protein-rich seeds.
I'm delighted that you were able to join us today on our Wildflower walk. We hope to see you in person once things change, and there will be another one posted, another video within a month.